Hello there, runDineers. It's Manny, and gosh, I've been trying to figure out how I'm gonna say this. I wrote down notes and everything, and then I kept thinking to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna say it because it's coming from the heart, and that's the best way of saying this. Is I just wanted to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. It was so awesome to meet you guys. So many people that I met or ran into again. It was so cool to talk to you, interact with you guys. I appreciated you. You just made my weekend. I had a magical weekend. I hope you guys did too. But the reason that I had a magical weekend is because of you guys. Figgy wants to thank you from the bottom of his heart because he had a great time out there also. He was only there with the Expo with me, but the rest of the time he was there, and he got to see my bibs and my medals as I came in and stuff. But guys, thank you so much. I mean, I keep thinking to myself, from the plane to the airport, to transportation to the resort, to transportation to the expo itself, meeting all you guys, a lot of you guys there, then the races themselves, whether it be before the race, whether it be after the race, a lot of you during the race. And so that was a lot of fun, guys, getting to know you guys. After party, I can't forget the after party there, and still on social media. A lot of you guys are still reaching out on social media, guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was a fantastic, magical weekend for me, guys, and it was because of you. So I wanted to thank you guys before I went on with anything else. And before I do, guys, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers, so keep subscribing, keep sharing this information, guys. This channel grows because of you. It's your channel, guys. Remember that. I keep reading everything that you guys, all the feedback, and I talk to you guys, and the stuff, the topics that I cover is because of you guys. So again, this is your channel. Keep asking questions, keep interacting, and let's go on from there. So I'm going to do this a little bit different because I usually say the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm just going to go from Expo to the runs and so forth and so on, and I'm just going to cover that, and I'm going to go over, you know, what went on, how everything went, and again, if there was good, bad, ugly, things that need to be fixed. Remember my rule, guys. If I have a problem, I bring up something that seems to be a little bit problematic, then we're going to have a viable solution. And by viable solution, I mean, guys, it's not something that's going to just benefit me. It's going to benefit the whole. And if it means that I don't get the full benefits, I'm okay with that. I prefer that because, again, we want to benefit as many people as we can. This is a run for the whole group of us. It is not just a single person's run. That's what makes this different. That's what makes this group different. And so let's get to it. So the first thing was the Expo, guys, and we had before the Expo we had to get the check-in pass, which seemed to go out pretty well. People got the emails, or if not, you could log into your account. I had explained to do that, how to do that, and it seemed to go pretty well. The virtual queue seemed to go okay. I got group 17. When I got to I was staying at All Star Music. When I got to my transportation center, they weren't there. The time was getting closer and closer to 10. Finally, they told us that the bus had broken down. A lot of us called lifts. We were able to get over there pretty quickly. I had no problem taking a lift. As a matter of fact, I had been thinking about taking a lift for a while before they told us that. The thing that caused, or could have caused, a little bit of problem, and I could see it with other people, is, again, I got 17. As soon as I got there, I met my party, and we almost got called right in. And so, guys, I could easily see it. If you got called number 5 and you were still waiting in line, you were going to get there late. And of course, you know, everybody wants to make sure that they get there as early as they can, because they want to make sure that they have access to the good merchandise. Now, I do know that I think it was 2 items. I believe it was 2 items. Correct me if I'm wrong. That were sold out. And that was the Magic Figment shirt that I did it, basically. Not I did it, but the special edition Figment shirt, and then the challenge metal pin. And so that was a Figment one also. And those 2 sold out, and from my understanding is most of them sold out during Club runDisney. So there goes one of the issues, is because it's limited edition, you know, and stuff, and so people don't have access to it once it comes to after Club runDisney. So I think a viable solution, I was talking to a lot of people, and I think I told you guys, I talked to some people that did the runDisney in Paris, and over there you have to have your bib, or, and I think another thing that you can do is have your check-in pass. in order to buy stuff, at least for the first day. So merchandise the first day, I think that in order for you to purchase something, and I even gonna say for the first 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours of the first day, you are gonna have to have your bib, so that's gonna show that you're doing a challenge, your bib that shows you're doing your 5K, whatever it is, and or the check-in pass, because a lot of people go straight to the merchandise instead of going and getting your bib. But if you have your check-in pass, it will show that you are running the challenge or the half marathon or whatever it is. I think that's a viable solution, at least for the first half of the day, the first half of the first day of the expo, because that way people get a chance. Because it does bother me that people will sign up for something and they won't get a chance to get it, and somebody who is not there and is not running it does get a chance to get it. So guys, that was the other thing I was going to say, is we walked right in, so it seemed like they were putting more people inside of there, and it seemed a little bit more crowded also because the pictures were there. We usually would pay, get out, and there would be like a buffer wall, and then the pictures would be over there, the characters and so forth, the mileage and everything. Now they were all in one area, so I thought it was a little bit harder. I really do think that they should go back to get that buffer wall, because a lot of us were carrying stuff and we were trying to figure out how to get in there, and now there was a lot more people in there. I like that buffer wall because then you purchase it, you can kind of more or less relax. You have your bags, you go in there, and you can get your pictures taken. But it wasn't the worst thing. It wasn't bad. I just thought it would have been a little bit better if we still had that buffer wall. And the last thing I want to say is, guys, that wasn't that great, is that a lot of people were sitting there and with stuff that they didn't want, they just kind of dumped it, and they were just leaving dumps, and they would just walk away and go just purchase stuff, and that's not nice. That's not cool, guys. I know I don't do it. A lot of the people that are around me, none of us do it. But guys, if you don't like something, then go give it back to them or put it back up. A lot of them are really nice, so they just say, yeah, just hand it to us, and they can put it back on hangers or whatever it is and put it back there. But don't just dump it on the floor and walk off. You wouldn't want anybody doing that at your place, so please don't do that to them. Cast members are there for a reason. They're not there to clean up after us. They will if they have to, but guys, you wouldn't want somebody to go to your place of work or your home and just dump stuff and walk out and make you do it and stuff. You'll still clean it up, but again, I'm sure that you wouldn't like that. So we haven't even covered the bib pickup at the expo, which seemed to go pretty seamless. They also had some picture opportunities there, including some magic shots, which now I regret, because I looked at it and I said, should I go get it? And I said, no, I won't get it this time. And then when I saw it later on, there was a magic shots. And so guys, don't pass up any picture opportunities when you see them. And there was one in the bib pickup area. Then we walked over to the actual expo where we were picking up our shirts, and they had all the vendors there. And going in there, they had the circles with the emblems of all the runs. That was a good little picture opportunity there too. And as you walked in, you had the new logo for the new Run Disney logo, and it was pretty cool there too, so you could take a picture there. We got that too. Then you went to downstairs, you have the vendors, got to see the new medals, guys. If you haven't checked that out, go back and look at the video for the expo, and you will see the medals from this Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend, Disneyland Weekend, and Princess. The only ones that weren't there was the Springtime Surprise. And they did have a big board, and I took a picture. I put that up on social media. I took a picture of it where they had the whole season, 2024-2025 season. It was all there. It was really cool. Again, they had picture opportunities inside of there, plus all the vendors, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I saw a lot of recovery stuff. That was actually pretty cool to see, because for a long time there wasn't any recovery stuff. There was maybe one or two, and you got the old big foam rollers, and now they got the electronic ones and stuff. And so, and of course, the highlight to me always is going over and saying hello to Jeff Galloway. And so I went over there and said hi to Jeff. But guys, that was great. Again, interacting with you guys. I'm going to continue saying that throughout the video. Made my day and stuff. There was a bunch of vendors there that sold food. So they had food trucks. They had, the restaurant was open. So guys, anybody who's like saying they're going like, well, I get straight from the airport and I'm really hungry and stuff, you can just go by the food truck and get something to eat there too. You don't have to go to your resort. There was people with baggage or their luggage they were walking around, and that's okay. That happens a lot, guys. So overall, I thought the Expo was great. A couple of hiccups here and there, but I thought it was great. So let's move on to race day. The race days were great. I thought the transportation from All Star Music was fantastic every time I walked up there. And I got there closer to about 3:15 to 3:30. And every time I walked up there, the buses were there. I never had to wait in line. Buses were running all over the place. There wasn't a ton of traffic that I saw, that I witnessed. Everything seemed seamless. Then, of course, we get out 5K, 10K, or the half. We get out, we have to go through security, where we basically park in Epcot where the buses park anyway. We have to go through the regular security, which is something to keep us safe. Then we go over there, we take the picture of Spaceship Earth, the big ball and stuff. They do have like a little buffer where they won't let you cross. Reason is because a couple people actually tried to go into Epcot in previous races, so now they actually stop us there and they won't let us go. But it's still a good picture opportunity. There's actually some restrooms before you go to the porta potty. You have to walk all the way, but it's not that far. It wasn't that bad considering Marathon Weekend, which I'm not sure. We'll talk about that in a later video. Are we going to have to walk that 1.2 miles? No, we didn't. Everything was right there. So there was a bunch of porta potties there. They had more food trucks there. They had a DJ. They had 4 character opportunities. Most of them had a long wait. After a while, since I was starting in the back, it didn't bother me, so I stopped and took a couple of pictures there. But guys, that was a good place to interact. They had a bunch of meetups for a bunch of Run Disney meetup groups, and so that was actually a good place to meet up. Then we went into our corrals. Once we go into the corrals, again, that's when you have to have your bib. So if you're not showing your bib, they won't let you in. Then the spectators will go a different way because they actually can go and they can spectate the start, and that's always a cool thing. So then they had, for the 5K, they had the 4 corrals, if I'm correct. They have A, B, C, and D, and then they actually had the cutoff points. So you had to be in your corral at a certain time. Now, the 5K is not timed, so you can take your time and so forth and so on. So it really didn't matter which corral you went in there. What mattered is how long you were going to wait to take pictures with the characters that were on the course. So guys, the 10K and the half had 5 corrals, A, B, C, D, and E. And so it was a little bit different because especially for the half marathon, I was going to start in the back, and I'll explain in a little bit. So when I started in the back, we couldn't even get into our corral till 5. And that was one of the areas where I saw a lot of people saying, oh, they felt like Corral E was basically outcasted. They were, we weren't important and stuff. I looked at it in a different perspective, and so I'm not gonna overstep my boundaries and say, well, I didn't feel, you guys shouldn't have felt this way and stuff. I didn't feel that way because I purposely start in the back. There's a reason why I start in the back, but I could see the point that, yes, usually you're in your corral and they're talking to you, and this time you have to wander around until 5 o'clock, and then that's when you can get into the corral. So I can see that point, but they're trying to do this, and I think this is one of their things that they're trying to do to see how it works, because people were getting there late and they were trying to jump barricades to get into their corral, which caused a different set of problems. So guys, so I didn't have an issue, but I start in the back, especially the 10Ks. I will start in the back, and I'm the last one to start before the balloon lady. So it's actually funny because, and you can watch the videos, guys. So it is the last corral. Then there's a little bit of a buffer, and the dead last starters, the DLS, they go next. A great bunch of people, by the way. It's been growing and growing and growing. And then it's me with my GoPro. And then behind me is the balloon ladies and Dennis. Dennis is the unofficial balloon guy. Awesome guy. If you've never met him, he's a great person, great, awesome. Apparently, he told me that a lot of you guys have been going up to him and saying hi to him because you saw him on a video or something like that. So keep going up to him and say hi to him. He's a great, great guy and stuff. But that's the way it works. But that's why I start in the back, because I want to film. I want to make sure that I film going from the back. And the back of my shirt now reads, hey, I create a magical run if you're reading this jersey. So I'll pass up people, and I'm hoping that they read my shirt and that hopefully it motivates them to keep going. But that's it. I also thought, now let's go to the characters. 5K, it was so packed. 10K, there was more characters. and the lines weren't as long. And then of course the half, there was a ton of characters. There was even Oogie Boogie, Duffy was out there. There was characters that we didn't see on a regular basis. So I thought that was one of the cool things, is to seeing the characters out there. The courses is the other thing. The 5K is always going to be right around the area because it's 3 miles. It's not going to be that long. The 10K I thought was great for what they can do, because we did run touch into Hollywood Studios, the Boardwalk, Epcot, and then we finished. And basically with the 10K they do what they can do. The half marathon, I can see a lot of people's points. I don't dislike this course, but I do like the course before, where we used to go into Animal Kingdom and then we would come back, hit Hollywood Studios, and then finish up at Epcot. So guys, I can easily see that, because most runs really go into a couple parks. They don't touch the third park or the fourth park unless it's a marathon. And so I can easily see that, and especially if you've done them before and you go like, man, we used to go into Animal Kingdom. It was so cool to go into Animal Kingdom that early in the morning and so forth. But guys, so I can see that. What is my take on that? Yes, I really do wish they would bring it back to where we could run up to Animal Kingdom and then go in. I don't know the behind the scenes. My guess is, again, it's less congestion on the freeways going to the parks and coming away from the park, so it's easier to get there. And so again, and then when you go into a different park, that means you got to have another set of cast members that are going to be there. And so I think it's to make it simple. That's the reason they do that. But again, guys, it's only once or twice or 3 times, at the most 4 times a year, where you're going to do multiple parks. Guys, I think it's worth it, because it does feel a little bit more magical. Now, again, I had a great time no matter what. But yes, I would love it a little bit more if we got to run in Animal Kingdom for the half marathon. So I'm going to go over a couple of other things before I start going into the 3 areas that we really need to discuss. And so when you hear them, you're going to go, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, those 3 and stuff. But number 1 is the balloon ladies were awesome as usual, guys. One of the things the reason I'm going to stop and say the balloon ladies is this. Guys, they are awesome, awesome, awesome people. They have nothing to do with stopping or starting or whatever, or telling you to get on the bus. So guys, they're unofficial pacers, okay guys? But I did see a couple people post on there, they were going too fast, they shouldn't have done this, it threw me off and stuff like that. Well guys, focus on your stuff, okay guys? Because it's not their job to train you, or it's their job to just basically keep up their pace. So guys, but they're wonderful, they're great, so I wouldn't even worry about them. I just love interacting with them because they're so nice and they're so awesome to talk to. So that's one thing. Number 2 is the race people. So the race announcers, the MCs, they were all great. Riley is very, very great at going in, and when he sees something, he calls people out. Then you have John and Carissa up there, and the other staff members. Everybody is so awesome. They're so inspiring. They're so inclusive. They bring in everybody. So I thought they were all great. One of the things, the unsung heroes, the guys who clean up behind us. Again, if you watch my videos, and you might even see it, when I'm in the back, I can actually see them, and they're cleaning up everything. As we are moving up, they're cleaning up everything, and you turn around and it's immaculately clean, because this is what they do. I go and I thank them all, because the reason we go to the parks is because they are so darn clean, and so they do a great job. So if you ever around them or you see them, thank them for what they do, because they help bring the magic. Now, the most uncontrollable thing that we had over the weekend, which was not bad, was the weather. It kept looking like it was going to be cold, then hot, then cold, then hot. It started cold to cool most mornings. The only time that it got a little bit warm was when we did the half marathon. The time changed, so the sun came out a little bit faster than it usually does, and that caused a little bit of people exposed to a little bit more heat. But again, if you understand your pace, you learn your pace, you should be okay, guys. But that was it. I didn't think the weather was anything bad like it has been in the past. I thought it was actually pretty good. I always wish, everybody says, well, 60, that's perfect. And they were saying it's a perfect running weather. I like 50s more, getting to mid to low 50s, because again, your body will warm up. And so that's the good part about it. So you might have to take something off, throw it out. But again, I thought that was great. And now that's going to transition because now we're going to be running, and it's going to go into the topic number 1 that we're going to talk about that needs to be addressed. And so when I'm going to talk about this topic, and right away you're going to go, oh yeah, there was a lot of posts on social media about this, and I'm going to try to word it because I don't want to make it to where it is anything negative. But it's going to be basically running pace and walking pace. And again, we all know walkers are supposed to stay to the right, then runners to the left. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't. I saw interactions online, people picking one side over the other. Guys, let's stop this right away. We don't need to do this. So it's going to be very, very simple. Walkers, yes, you should stay to the right, and it's going to be something that is, and somebody pointed this out and I agree with them. It's not as easy as just staying to the right because there is different paces when it comes to walking. So I thought, again, viable solution. How about if you know you're a slow walker, you're at about the 16-minute pace, maybe even a little bit slower because you started off at a earlier corral, so forth and so on, and so you know that you're going to be a little bit slower. Stay to the extreme right as much as you can. Will you always stay there? No, because there might be a character on the left that you want to take a picture of, and that's when you raise your hand, you motion, you come over and look over your shoulder, like I always tell people, and cross over in a safe way. But then on the next one is, so maybe 1 or 2 apart and stuff. And now, granted, all this goes out the window when it's very, very narrow, but I'm going to just go over the bigger roads. So maybe like two aside, not 3, and we already know that, they talk about that, but maybe a faster runner to the left, or a faster walker, I should say, to the left. And so let the people that are walking a little bit faster go around and be able to pass up the slower walkers. Then on the next one, basically the next invisible or not, there's a lane that we're not going to even point out, but maybe the joggers there, the walk joggers. So if you're walking, you jog and then you walk over, do that, maybe get on like the 3rd or 4th lane there. And then of course the full-time runners to the left. Now guys, if you're a full-time runner who starts in the back, and dead last starters might do this, they start off in the back and they're going to stay exclusively to the left, and they should stay to the left. So guys, they have the right of way. Now, granted, there's going to be some places that says caution runners, course narrows ahead. So that's the place where you really, really have to just adjust a little bit and understand that you're not going to be able to go as fast or as slow or whatever it is, because you're going to have to adjust. But again, there's going to be those situations where you do this. But again, what we need to do is get a frame of mind that we're all in this together. It's not just for one person. If you look at what I have done and you see in the videos, I try to go to clearings. I try to go where there's no other people there because I don't want to bother anybody. Was there times when I had to weave through traffic? Yes, there was, because there was walkers all over the place. But guys, remember this, the reason I have to weave is because if I could stay on the left, I would stay on the left the whole time, is because there was walkers all over the place. So that's the reason I had to weave. So if you guys move over, but then again, I also see your point where there's a lot of different paces when it comes to walkers. So guys, so I understand, but this is something that's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect, but guys, we can work on it individually. So and I always say it starts with, and this is not talked about anywhere, looking over your shoulders. You do that when you're switching lanes in a car, when you're turning, but you don't do that when you're walking. And it should be one of the first things, if not the first thing you do. Check your shoulders to see where the traffic is coming from, so that way you can move to where it needs to be done, okay guys? And so that's it. But again, I don't think it was a huge problem, but then again, that's just me. I didn't get hit by a walker. I didn't, and I didn't get hit by a runner either and stuff. And again, it was just me. But guys, if you have any feedback, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. So now I'm going to transition to the AWDs, so the athletes with disabilities, and that was number 2. That's the next thing that we need to talk about, something that was out there, because now they had to start in their corrals. I was able to talk to quite a few of them, including one of the race directors, or one of the people that helped put on the race, and she was basically in charge of the athletes with disabilities, or one of the people in charge. And so I got a lot of feedback. And guys, again, just like anything else, when people get mad and how dare they and stuff like that, there's a reasoning why, and it's good to listen, because there is a reason why. And I think, again, there could be something that can come together so that we could actually help, because there is people that really do need that buffer, the athletes with disabilities who need that buffer, that are not getting it anymore. But I have a feeling that it's going to come back. So I'll go over that now. So guys, the athletes with disabilities were now thrown into the actual corrals. Instead of having, there was somewhere in B, from my understanding, is they would start in the middle. They had their own little buffer. So these were people that really needed it for whatever reasons. But the reason that they told me that they were doing this is because, like anything else, abuse of the system. So people were abusing the system. As a matter of fact, there were some athletes with disabilities who told me, yes, people were abusing the system. One of the people told me that during Dopey last year, somebody ran all 4 races, and the first 3 races they stayed in their corral. They didn't like their placement for the last corral, the last race, so they went to the athletes with disabilities and got put in the B, right in the B section up there. And that's not fair, guys. If you're going to do it, you do it all the way. The solution that she says, we have paperwork because of my disability, which is partial blindness, and which causes a lot of other issues, guys. So if that's the case, guys, that you have to send in paperwork ahead of time. And a lot of the runners who were for this, they said, or athletes, I should say, who were for this, said, we will be glad to send in this information. So there is proof that we do need that buffer. And so I think, and this is, again, from what I've gathered, the athletes with disabilities do need that buffer. And I think it's going to be good if we find a solution to where they do follow a protocol where they can send in their information, they can get that buffer, they can be in there and go back to normal. And then, but again, guys, don't abuse the system. Hey, my foot hurts a little bit today, I want to go in there now too. It's not going to be that easy, and it shouldn't be that easy. Things happen. I run hurt sometimes too, and I still start where I'm supposed to start, guys. So guys, let's do that. Let's help the people who actually need it, the athletes with disabilities. Overall, I heard, yeah, it was a little tense for them, but it seemed like most of them were okay at the end, which is I was glad to hear. Got to see a lot of them at the finish line, and that's it, guys. But we're going to support the athletes with disabilities. I've already written in to RunDisney with my thoughts. But now we got to we need to go to the third thing that really affected us, guys, all of us, and let's get to it. So the last thing, and it really affected us, guys, volunteers. I had a shirt that said, we love our volunteers, and the EARS was at the end with the ears, and I kept trying to show it to people. But guys, you guys noticed it. If you did not notice it, you weren't paying attention. There was very few volunteers out there, guys. There was, it was just really abnormal to watch, because you usually, these places are packed and stuff. I got to talk to a lot of them, and I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of the people who signed up didn't show up. There's been this big disparity on why they didn't show up. A lot of people were just upset. Guys, if you do not know, a few years back, they used to get a one-day park ticket that was sent to them about 4 to 6 weeks after the run. So every day that they volunteered, so if they volunteered 3 days, they would get three tickets. Then last year, which I didn't like the way that this was handled, what they did was at the very end of their shift, instead of saying, hey, you got to get your email, they gave them a half-day park ticket, and that was it. So that was it. Now this year, they said they weren't going to give them anything, and they had to sign a waiver saying that they didn't expect anything. Although I heard that they did get a cup of coffee and a bagel or something like that. But guys, when you talk to a lot of these people, one person I was talking to drove 2 hours. It had to drive 2 hours to volunteer each day. So she would either have to drive 2 hours. So what she would do is get a hotel room. And because she would get a hotel room, it was $100+. Of course, the ride and being there for 8 to 10 hours, sometimes 12, depending on the run, guys. She was basically paying to volunteer, which was not a good thing, guys. Guys, our volunteers are what make the runs. A lot of people were complaining about it. I even heard that people were screaming at the volunteers. Guys, that's not okay. That's never okay. So what you noticed is they put a lot of cast members. So you saw the badges with their names. So they had to pull a lot of cast members just to get us some water, just to get us some Powerade, just to get us some goo, whatever it was. They were all there, the medals and so forth and so on. But guys, we need those volunteers back, guys. And so I thought long and hard, what is a viable solution for this? So Disney, if you're listening to me, here is the viable solution. Go back and give them a one-day ticket. If you're afraid because you're sitting there going like, okay, we're going to lose money, they should be volunteers, so forth and so on, just think to yourself, alrighty, we don't have to hire more cast members for that day. So we're going to give them a park ticket. And guess what? If they're going to be there a full day, they're probably going to have to pay for parking. They're probably going to have to eat there. They might get some merchandise. I mean, they're going to spend money. They might get the what's it called, the Genie Plus and so forth and so on. They might spend some money. So at least you get some of the money back when it comes to giving this out. Again, I'm not an accountant. I don't see the numbers, but I think to myself, you know what, if they're there, they're probably going to spend some money, so I make some of it back. But guess what? I don't have to start pulling cast members from everywhere else and to make sure that I'm covered in this shift. And so, guys, I still do think that the volunteers should go back to getting a full day of a ticket to Disney. Guys, we love, if you guys are out there, we love the volunteers. I love you guys. I think that you guys are part of what brings the magic to these runs, guys, and these runs would not exist without you guys. So guys, this video has gone on really long, but a couple of highlights. Number one is when I stopped to take my picture with Boogie Oogie, I actually saw a lady with a service dog, which I thought was the coolest thing. She told him to pose or something like that. So the dog actually posed with Boogie Oogie, which I thought was amazing. This is the kind of stuff that you run Disney and you see it and you're going like, damn, this is so cool to just witness, to experience, to see this. I thought that was great. Another great thing that I witnessed was at the after party. When I was there at the after party, I got to see some cast members dancing and dancing and dancing. I went back and I recorded them and they were just dancing and I said, guys, you deserve it. Please keep dancing. It was just awesome to watch. So guys, real quick about the after party, I did not record it. I was so tired and it seemed like I wasn't the only one there. Everybody was getting there and people who I was interacting with were just like, all right, let's get on Guardians, and then we get off and it's like, all right, 2 pictures. Okay, it's almost 12. Let's get out of here. And so I actually saw some pictures like after midnight. It was basically bare. And I actually think to myself, maybe they should move it up an hour or two just to make sure, because if not, we're just falling asleep. But it was funny because in previous years, it seemed to be a little bit more packed. A lot of people, more people out there. But after a while, when I was walking around about 11:45, 12 o'clock, there was not that many people out there. I didn't record because there really didn't seem to be much to record about. The only big thing was that long line for that special edition pin that was being sold at 8 o'clock. There was 500 of them that they were being sold. I got to see it before. It didn't pique my interest, so I said, no, I'm going to skip on this one. But that line wrapped around Creation Shop. It went all the way beyond the walls, the Walcott that was there. So guys, again, I'm going to just go back to saying it was an amazing time seeing you guys. That was my highlight, meeting you guys again. Too many of you guys to just say names, because I'd be here for another hour saying names and stuff. But guys, thank you for who you are, guys. Guys, I'm going to actually post a video. I was watching some old videos of mine, and I'm going to put a small video at the very end of this video of the Expo from about 6-7 years ago, and then also the some part of the run from the Wine and Dine. So it's going to be a short video after this video. So if you want to check that out, that's really, really cool. But guys, without further ado, guys, create a magical day, create a magical run, and guys, see you sooner than later. So this is the history of the Wine and Dine. 2010, which I did. 11, I didn't. Man, some of these are so cool. Celebrating 10 years. So 15, I didn't. Here it is like when I came back. 16, I did the 2017. This one was a really cool one too. And there's 2019. Alrighty, so one more to look at this, and then we're off to get our bib and go to the Expo. And we're passing by Dino Land. This is usually where we exit on the backside. Still early in the morning, so no rides. And thought there'd be another photo op, but there's not. We gotta pose for pictures again. Hello! Oh, there is a photo op over here.
I knew there would be something. Just imagine. It's Chippendale. All right, we'll see you outside in a minute.